What's up guys, welcome to another gardening video on my channel. Today we are going to be talking about weeding, right? Getting rid of those weeds, how to get rid of them. I'm going to give you different methods on how to get rid of them. So I hope you enjoy. You know, the sun is shining, the rain is raining. I hope you enjoy. Let's do what it gotta do. So as you can see, there's some weeds invading my garden. The rain has really been doing its thing. And as such, you know, you would get some weeds, but also obviously the crops are doing well as well. So you can see here, especially this patch, there's a lot of weeds. The first one we have is mulching. So here we have some wood chips that I'm going to be using. You can use different types of mulch. There's compost, there's grass clippings, there's a bunch of ways that you can actually mulch. Today I'm going to be using some wood chips, right? So what you want with mulching, you want to put this mulch on top of the weeds so that basically you are cutting off the sunlight that they have, and in turn you're killing off the weeds. That's a nice way to actually control the weeds, and it's a lot less work. So you see now how this patch looks like. Now it's literally covered with the wood chips, fully covered. And if I can maybe just show you how deep I've put it, quite a bit. You see, so maybe I think that's like an inch, maybe I would say. So yeah, just put enough that you don't see the actual weeds and they're covered. I could even put some more just so that there's no sunlight that gets into this patch. And yeah, that's the first method, mulching. So why would you mulch, right? Mulching is, for me, my most favorite way of getting rid of the weeds. This way, basically, you are retaining a lot of moisture, right? You are retaining so much moisture in the garden. So when you have the less rainy periods, at least the mulch soaks this up, keeps the water in, right? It's less work on your body. Basically, you just have to get the mulch, put it on top, and you just forget about it. With the mulch, there's a lot less work because you've already covered the weeds, and they are less likely to pop up as much as they used to, because now you're just basically blocking them out. And also another added advantage of mulch is that it adds nutrients back into the garden. The mulch that you put in, that itself adds nutrients. The weeds that are already in there, they have their own nutrients. Basically, you are adding those nutrients back into the garden. Way to do it is by manually coming into the garden and getting rid of the weeds. This is obviously not the nicest method, but as you can see, I have some weeds here. Basically just taking them and manually just coming into the garden and taking out the weeds. This is a way that you can get rid of weeds. It's obviously the most cumbersome. Basically what you want to do is grab the weed and, you know, grab it from the bottom and try and take it from where the weed, like the actual roots are, you see. So at least you know that you give them the least chance of them popping up again. For some weeds, it's harder to get to the actual roots and to get too deep enough. So what I would suggest is, for those ones, come after when it's raining. So after it's raining, the soil is a bit looser and it's a lot easier to actually take the weeds out. This is another method to get rid of the weeds. The next one that I would suggest is ground cover crops. So this one, you could have the pumpkin, you could have the squash, the baby marrow. All of these, basically you want crops that have huge leaves like this, that basically cover the ground. And in covering the ground, they basically don't let the shade come in so that the weeds can produce. And you can see, just as an example here, we have this squash, right? And underneath, you see there isn't quite a lot of weeds as compared to soil that is uncovered. So you can see here, this is like completely covered by weeds. But in here, you would see less of them because they are actually blocked by the sun. So I get some cover crop, pumpkin, squash, you know, baby Marisa. So another good way in trying to stop the weeds, right? And this one even it helps before you actually start gardening or anything. But basically this one creating weed barriers, right? So as a beginner gardener, it's a good step to, when you're starting your garden, basically just place some cardboard, newspaper. Cardboard is obviously the better choice because it's thicker, but you can place some cardboard on there, put some mulch, right? This could be wood chips, this could be compost, right? The grass clippings, right? And then water that section, right? Basically what you're doing is killing off the weeds. Number one, with you placing the cardboard, you are taking away the sun from the weeds, right? So then even the weeds that are already there, you literally are covering them, killing them off also in that process. The mulch helps with also then keeping another layer. It takes some time for the weeds to actually decompose. You should wait until all of that decomposes, the cardboard and the mulch, before you actually start planting. So if you actually want to start planting in that area, then instead of mulch, then just get topsoil or maybe get some soil, and then put that on top of the actual cardboard, and then you can actually plant in that soil. I would recommend that you put a lot of soil, a lot of soil above the cardboard, just so that you allow the cardboard to decompose first, and that your actual plants, they are not limited to just reaching the cardboard, and then they can't go further down into the ground. Okay, so that's another method to get rid of the weeds. And the last one, and the most easiest one, is regular maintenance. Make sure that you're coming into the garden and maintaining the garden. Make sure that you are always checking up on the weeds that pop up. So you see, as let's say here, for example, we have the grass, right? The grass, if you come in early enough, before it really takes over the garden, at least then you can get ahead of the curve and you can take them out early before they start to spread. So you can see here, these ones for me are very tough to actually get rid of. I wouldn't recommend that you manually try to take these out. In this case, if you have these type of weeds, I would say try the mulch and try and get rid of them in that way. If you have, maybe for example, you have grass, if you have the grass, then I can say manually take them out. So as a rule of thumb with weeds, right? Weeds, we shouldn't look at weeds as such a bad thing, right? Weeds are basically there to tell you that your garden is deficient in a certain nutrient, right? And the weed that is popping up in that area is showing you that this is what it's deficient in. So that's why you have different types of weeds popping up everywhere, right? Because there are different areas in the garden that are deficient of certain nutrients. So when you actually keep those weeds, instead of just plucking them and taking them out, you could literally keep those nutrients in the garden just by killing the weeds off and then keeping them into the garden and just letting them die into that garden, adding nutrients back. Let's just change the mindset that we have of weeds, and said instead of looking them at as a bad thing, they're actually kind of helping the garden as well. So guys, that will be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if you like it by liking, commenting, all of that. So basically I'm actually trying to post 2 times a week now, so hopefully that works. It will be Sunday and Wednesday. So just put your reminders, all your alerts on. But why I wanted to actually do this video was because I have a lot of weeds. I have a lot of weeds. I just thought that maybe you would also be struggling with this, and I thought maybe it would be some help. Check you guys on Wednesday. Love, peace, grow every single day.